Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is a video about why I want to travel, experience new cultures without sounding like a cliche, because this is kind of what I'm going into in this video, which is that I think it's such a cliche to be like, oh, I want to travel, like I want to go to different places and like I want to be in my 20s and I want to live my best life. And because in social media we're pushed all this stuff like where people are in nice places, and I'm going back to my own individuality complex thing where I'm like, oh well, and you kind of subconsciously just filter through all this stuff that you can see as like narcissistic or whatever. I suppose you see the world through the lens you see it in, and I've learned a lot about psychology and like stuff like that recently, and I feel like you filter through social media and you don't really think about the fact that these places are really beautiful and it'd be really fun to like experience the culture in all these places and stuff like that. Because I am quarter Polish, quarter Irish, half English. Not that makes much difference because there's people of all nationalities that live in England where I live. And I went to Poland recently and it was nice to be around somewhere that I kind of could connect to in a way. But also I'm partially Irish and I've got like Irish related friends here. And it's not so much about connecting to other places, but it's about seeing different cultures, because this is going to sound so weird. I might get onto it in a sec actually. I might just go into this first. But I think I'm a bit scared of like living abroad, but I feel like visiting it and like going to different like cultures, because the fact is people, even though they are different nationalities and we all know like everyone's different, but cultures and even nationalities and like the way people are born and your genetics do, and your languages that you speak, which I've done a video on about in the past, and basically it does make a difference to how you want to live, like what preferences you have. I know for a fact even in England we're more like, it's a stereotype but it's still kind of true, that we're more like about our fish and chips and our tea than we are like in LA, where they're all about like, you know, being glamorous and stuff. So people do have different ways of living, obviously, like Europe, America, Africa's and all this kind of stuff, Asian countries and all that. So I probably would want to go to Europe, to be honest, hence my book saying Europe. But yeah, they I've just recently watched a video on it, but it's like I feel like my identity will evolve, I feel like, and they say like it's like I'm like, oh, I want to like experience new things and blah blah, and I sound like a cliche but it's still true. Like and another thing which I'm going to get onto, which is kind of a bit of a, I don't know if it's going to slow down the vibe a bit. My vibe is quite high at the moment, so that's okay. But I feel like because I went to different schools, I've always been quite aware of how different they operate. Not like in a massive way, but I feel like obviously in different schools they have different operating systems, obviously different people are there. So I've always been quite aware of my environment, if that makes any sense. And I suppose everyone is, but I've been particularly aware because I went to 2 different schools, whereas some people might have only been to one, but I suppose you always have to swap schools in some time when you move from primary school to secondary school, for example, in England. But I think in school I used to like kind of romanticize things, like I don't know if I necessarily did massively, but I know like when I was like gonna go, like I went on a family holiday after I finished school, when I wasn't in a good place, but it's like I just literally, like, I feel like I was romanticising it as like an escape mechanism, and I feel like that was what it was. But now I'm in a better mental state. It's not like I was in a really bad mental state, I wasn't in the best mental state, you know, very stressed and stuff like that, so I just was not that good. But it's like, just because I think now I've like been like, oh, because I can't romanticize that now because then my mental health will be bad. It's like, no, like just it's worth still exploring these places because the world is beautiful. Like I feel like it's like, be careful about how much you romanticize, because I think you can like lose yourself a bit in it if you kind of are walking around the world like everything's beautiful, like I'm gonna live every day, like, but at the same time that brings positive vibes as well. I think I've just maybe been around a lot of cynicism recently and I've become a bit of a cynic, because the world is beautiful, like and like people, there's so many different places to visit in the world, and I have considered myself a little bit, I am one of those people where like, and this is probably why I wouldn't move abroad, because I think I do like my basic, I like feeling comfortable in where I am. Like I like to know the area, I like to know my friends. I'm not saying I wouldn't save this house and just go on holiday and explore and stuff, but it would be really nice to like go to different places and experience different places. especially like I'm single, like I've got no one to rely on me. I know, like, hopefully in 10 years I'll have children, you know, God willing or not, but there's so much more life to live before then. I feel like it's like, why am I don't need to rush into anything anyway. But yeah, like, and I think it'll also push me out my comfort zone mentally, because like it is really stressful. Like I did have a panic attack once when I went to London recently, but it was because I was like really hungover, and I just got really overwhelmed because I've been in lockdown for 7 weeks on my own. So there we go. Not a good plan if ever you're planning to do it. Not a great plan. But yes, I think that is all I wanted to say. Might be nice to, I don't know how much I'm going to do very well in learning Spanish. Maybe I could touch up on some Spanish beforehand, but if I was going to Spain, but then I end up going to a different country and then it's useless. So a lot of them know English there, which is good. I am at a good position, to be honest, to be travelling because I do speak English, because English is such a universal language. I am actually really lucky, because if I spoke French and I wanted to go over to like, you know, Africa, or actually to be fair, that's quite, they speak a lot of French in Africa, I feel like, in Africa, I've heard, but like certain places, okay, you know what I mean. If I was like, God, what's a country? Australian? Okay, right, do you know what I mean? I'm quite privileged for that culture, for that reason. But yeah, I'm going to go now, but I find that this was an interesting video to make. I do need to save up a little bit of money, but it shouldn't be too long before I can go. I should be able to save it up. I'm hoping to go possibly this year, possibly next year, it depends. Probably be sort of midway next year, if I'm honest, somewhere between early and midway next year. On my own. I would like to go on a plane, but that's all very nerve-wracking for someone that's got anxiety. Like, I mean, not, I wouldn't say I've got anxiety, but I'm prone to anxiety, and it's like, it's quite a lot to deal with, to be fair. But I think we're going to do it. I've found as I got older, I've got really anxious on planes, but it's not that big of a deal. I feel like you've got to just, I think you get into it, but I think it's okay. But yeah, I think we're going to be doing that. So yeah, thanks for listening, bye.